Level 77 brings us the tarot feature. Here is the building. There is a lock on it on level 76, and on 77 you can get it eventually. Everything is empty initially. So that's what you can see. Now, you have your main union, hopefully by now. For me, that main union is Chaos. Although I've been varying the hero, this is the real one. So, Chaos, meaning Inferno and Fortress. And your next task is to go to Discord. And in Discord there is Hate's Tarot Guide, where you can see which cards to place or which cards to wish for. Because when you go to the divination shop, you need to set up a wish. This is not what I got at the end, but the wish itself can be viewed, hopefully. This is a wish card pool here. So we want to get this as a union card, and then you have a few other cards as well. Typically Judgment, Wheel of Fortune and Justice. And here in the world you have, well, the world first of all, and then Emperor and Empress. These are typical cards. By now, so level 77, if you lived with all opportunities, then you should have a couple of Union Tarot cards. For me it's like 8 in total. And it's also possible that you got other packs as well. Let me see the inventory. Here it is. Type Selection, Legendary Pack. This is just a card, you can select the type, and then you can get a card. Is there anything else? Doesn't look like it. Because there is an other type of box where you can select not just the type, but also the union. Or not the union, but the faction. It looks like these are the boxes that we have to live with. Given that this is typically not a V-Domino type of multiplied feature, I can just make use of the cards themselves. So the type selection cards, as well as the union. First I'll go to the random one, just in case it was useful, and actually it's not useful. And then always select it one by one. Never select the Fool, because the Fool is the one who uses the Fool cards. And then you need Emperor and Empress ones. Temperance, Devil. Yeah, it's a bit complicated because there are a lot. Well, doesn't matter. I'll get a word card anyway. Word Chaos. Always select the one union that you play initially. I will get 4 cards in total. One of them is the word Chaos. The second one, there it is, Empress Chaos. Then the third one, Emperor Chaos. And the fourth one is another word, Chaos. And these are gold legendary cards. Some of them are shiny. There it is, the word Chaos. You should be able to repeat this because by the time you reach level 77, you should have pulled Covenants at least twice. And if you do that, you get 4 Union cards. So you go to the cards, Chaos, plus, and then you place the Emperor Empress. It gives you a couple of stats. You won't be able to make changes, well, to the stats, unless you change the whole card. So you inlay this. Initially we won't be able to level up the stars, because you don't have enough cards. This is Emperor, and you see that this is a so-called singleton card. It says effective when strictly only one of these cards is slotted. If you slot a second card, you lose the bonus. So don't do that. Empress, same thing. So that's why you have Emperor Empress here for the Union card. And for Inferno and Fortress you will have just regular cards. Now I'll place in the slot, so I'll place the other cards. And already, now that we have the 4 cards, you see that I went up from 496 to 532,000 in terms of power. That's another power creep. There are quite a few power creeps. This is one of them. So let's go back. And let's see what cards we can place to Inferno. Currently we have 1 card. Now every single day you have a free pool. That's my second one. Yesterday I started. And these pools contribute to the album, where you get extra bonuses, both for faction and for Union. Now for Union I've managed to pull 4 cards, so this means that I got attack, HP and so on bonuses. And this gave you another 1000 power or so, or 10,000 power. So when you're wondering what happens on this level, this is what happens. But most of our opponents are not gonna get the same power creep. And the reason is simple. They don't know that they have to hoard this card, or they just get the wrong cards because they are not looking at the proper wish list. The wish list is super important. So I'll do the quick pull. So for Chaos it looks like this. For some other, the secondary cards are the same, but you swap the word with Judgment. So this means the Union card is gonna be Judgment and the faction card is gonna be World. So this is all you need to understand from the tutorial. So some homework, at least you learn how to use Discord. I won't record it here. Although in many of my other videos you see what I chose for Order, possibly for Death as well. So going back to this feature, right now we have 2 cards, Inferno, Fortress. We have no other choice but to place them in the slots. Like Justice. This is not Emperor, this is called Justice. And Strength. These are regular green cards. Very weak ones. Don't even bother if it's not Inferno. It can be something else as well. Then you go back to the inventory and select those cards that I chose back in the days in events because I knew that I would be spoiled with Union cards. So why not add these regular cards? And here there are multiple options. What I usually say is that here for the Union card you're better off selecting the specific card that is the singleton card, like multiple times, because you can level up the stars. So this means for the Union it's Emperor Empress that you select, not in the wish list but in the selection card, because you will get the world anyway. You can only wish for 1 card here, So the best thing you can do is maximize the stars, the number of stars of the other card, the singleton cards, and you will collect the world from the wishlist anyway. And here, on the right hand side, you see that you can wish for Justice and Wheel of Fortune. So you're better off simply selecting Judgment all the time, because it's just one wish out of 3. So that's why I'm going back to the inventory and I will select Judgment. Here I can even select 2 because both of them are gonna be Judgment. It's at the end, just before the world. And then we'll see what kind of action we're gonna get. One of them is Necropolis, and the other one is neutral. Okay, I'll take that, not a problem. Initially you cannot wish for everything. So you go back to the tarot feature, Chaos, and either Inferno or Fortress. For now I'm building Inferno first because I have more Inferno units. I slot in the cards and I'll get these bonuses. These are quite bad, it's just tenacity, HP, accuracy. But it's not a problem because sooner or later I'll be able to use this card, I'll show you how, as a merged card. So it would be the other way around. I'll place it back to the inventory and I use it as a card to level up of the stars of another card. I don't want to level up these stats. I want to level up other stats that contain damage and damage reduction. For example here, accuracy, HP, thanks for nothing. Well, it's not nothing, it's some extra. Actually, we also got unit damage reduction as well. But I will need other cards later. And then this has not ended yet, because there is this thing called the Stone of Fate, where you have regular polishing, standard, and refined, but the latter 2 requires materials that you don't have yet on day 1 or day 2 of the feature. So you will live with what you have and place the cards in, or the stones. I mean, they are better than nothing at the moment. You can also synthesize, if you had any, but I guess you don't. And you can also slot these stones in their place, if you had any, but I don't have anything else. Let's see the album. Right now, we cannot activate any bonuses. And you see the power creep nature, because right now we're at 542 or 5.42 million. So we got almost 500,000 power just by adding 6 cards. And in the leaderboard, if you check out the units, for some weird reason, I don't know why, actually I do, all my Inferno units got really powerful. They got so powerful that the first Fortress unit that I have is only 9th. And well, there is another unit from another player who slotted in 7th place. So this is simply because of the tarot cards. You see that the best non-Inferno unit is my 8th best unit. And even units I didn't care about ended up being quite strong. So this means that after starting this feature, evidently we're really far from everyone else. Now don't get me wrong, there are other players as well who are quite strong. I don't know what he did. 423. That's weird. Oh yeah, 411, okay. So there is something with my defense potentially. But yeah, of course, I forgot to add my units. So this stuns, so goes to the front, and then I use these units. Yeah, I just forgot to set this, and we won't have any adjutants. So that's why I was selecting the tarot feature. It's kind of interesting that you get this type of power creep this quickly. Hopefully you now know how to set the feature, which one to focus on. Now, if you have a monthly card, then you possibly have 2 neutral Divine Heralds. You can also take care of the neutral, but only after the regular one, your main union, which is in this case Chaos Guild. And whenever you need to know which other 2 factions you play with your union, with the alternative awakened units, then you just go to the Tarot house, and you know Inferno Fortress, that should be easy by now, and then Death and Cove. If you played Order, then you would have Rampart and Fortress, there you go. If you played Death, for example, then you would have Conflux and Castle. It's the Blood Church Alternate Awakening. This is why I said in some of the features that if you play Strength, for instance, then you can use your tower units. At least the commanders and the champions, because they work everywhere. But, you know, first you need to get more cards. How do you get more cards? Well, obviously you go to here, Divination Shop, and you start drawing. I don't recommend that without an event. There are usually events. 2 weeks ago, with respect to when this was recorded, there was the Tarot event that was in the slot of whichever event you see here. So this week is Battle Scars, and then other week it was Tarot. So you can pull the cards during Tarot events. Or the other option is Tarot Stellar Wishes. That was actually 1 week before the recording. So that's when you pull in bulk, and that's when you will get your cards leveled up. Right now we can settle for what we have here, because in order to unlock these 4 slots, you will need to have at least 200 something, like 215, 25, 55 or whatever number of stones. So right now the sum is just 7. You see, it's 2, 1, 1, 1, 1 and 1. The sum is 7. This is what you need to level up to 250 something. It will take a while. 20 levels possibly. Or experience levels. It's way past Tredwick once you get all the union logged. And then you will have more and more of these cards as well. So right now these are the priorities. Most likely no one else will have these union cards unless Yo-Yo chooses to continue playing, which is quite kind of unlikely at the moment. So this means that we will enjoy even more of an edge, at least in this playthrough. If you do the same, others will not know what is coming, and all of a sudden you get another half a million power or so.